Hey, what's going on, guys? Here it is, the final regular season recap video. Starting next week, we go into playoffs. And man, it was a tight one this year. Loved it. All it came down to the wire. It really did. So when we look at what happened this week, I beat Eric barely, less than 2 points, thanks to Stafford. And so that puts Eric and I tied. He has the higher points for, so he's going to get the higher seed going into playoffs. Zach lost to Mad Dogs, but Mad Dogs needed me to lose, and he needed to outscore me by like almost 40 points in order for him to make the playoffs, and so that didn't happen. So Mad Dogs is going to go into the toilet bowl, and Zach goes into first round bye. In the irrelevant game, Habanos and Horn Dogs won. In the other three games, determining playoffs, Tons of Anarchy loses, so they get knocked down into the toilet bowl as well. Peter loses, but it doesn't matter because the only two teams that were going up against him were Tons of Anarchy and Cuddy Shark. So the Walking Dead, despite the loss, get to go into the playoffs. Barrett has a massive score, turning it on late. Maybe if you weren't, gallivanting across the world of stadiums, you might have, won a couple of these final games here, buddy. Big win from Barrett, but doesn't matter because he's out of it. And so Don't Panic and Check Casher both go into the playoffs. And Check Casher, with the highest points total on the season in our league, gets his first round bye and just solidifies it again. 164 points without Jonathan Taylor. God, I'm terrified. Absolutely terrified to face him. All right, so here's what the playoffs look like now. Okay, going into week 15. Chet Casher gets a first round bye. He will play the winner of the Dune Buggy House Salad game. So MFCEO going up against Don't Panic to see who faces Chet Casher in round 2. Oh, man, I'm terrified. He's going to beat me with all the players I gave him. In the other bracket, Borgman is get a first round bye, and he will face the winner of Peter and Eric. So Peter and Eric facing off to see who squares up against Zach in round 2. In the toilet bowl works. The loser advances. We are trying to figure out who is the biggest loser. So loser advances, which is why Horn Dogs and Habanos get their first round bye. To see who is the absolute worst team in VFL this year. John is going to face Mark, and Mad Dogs will face Big Dumb Ox, so Barrett. Reminder, this is the final week to do your waivers in preparation for the playoff run, okay? So once a game starts, the players on that game will be locked, and you will not be able to do waivers for any of those players, okay? So we are basically locking waivers after this week's games, okay? So you have from now until the start of the game, or 5 minutes before the start of the game, to do your waivers, and then at which point we're gonna lock waivers going into the playoffs. So get your team ready. Remember, you don't want anyone getting hurt. You got some guys on IR. I think Zach has about 15 guys on IR right now. He's hoping that they all become healthy for the playoff run. And it's going to be a fun 3 weeks, guys, right? So we finish up championship week is week 17. Week 18, we will do our all-star game like we always do to determine draft order. And there you have it, guys. There has been some discussion happening about possibly turning our league into a dynasty league next year. So I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on that and whether or not you are for or against that. For those of you who don't know, a dynasty league, you would get much larger bench, and you would draft a team for multiple years, right? So the team that you draft, you would hold on to them through multiple years. So there would be off-season ad drops, there would be trades happening in the off-season. Draft orders determined by how poorly you do, how well you do, right? So bottom teams get the better picks, things like that, right? So it's very much closer to the actual NFL. And then we typically would do one large draft. It'd be a really long, big draft, 20 something rounds. And then the subsequent years we would do rookie only drafts. Because everyone else is just considered a free agent and you can pick them up whenever you want. So anyways, if you're interested in doing dynasty, let me know. If you're very much against it, let me know as well. The league's been around for 30 something years now, I think 36 years, and we've never done dynasty, which is kind of crazy. Part of the reason is because ownership changes so kind of frequently, but we've had this core group here with us for quite a while now, a couple years. So I don't see that changing, and even if it did, I don't think it'd be difficult to bring someone into a dynasty team. So anyways, if you're interested in that, let me know. It can add a little element of fun to our seasons. And with that said, good luck to everyone except for Willie in the playoffs. See you guys.